disconnect these fuel lines, now that you've relieved your fuel pressure, you won't have gasoline come out. So I'm going to show you guys, this is a fuel pump, and these two ends are the fuel lines. So when you're under there, what you'll do, you'll get your disconnect tool, and you're going to put it right here on the edge of these fuel lines, and you'll do one side at a time. And when you put that fuel disconnect tool on there, you should be able to just pull this right off. Now, it won't be that simple if you've never changed your fuel filter. If it's the original fuel filter on there, it's going to be a little bit harder because you've got probably years or miles and miles and miles worth of dirt that have caked up on there, and it makes it harder to pull off. So it took me, fortunately, it took me about 45 minutes to pull mine off, even with the tool, but mine's a rare case. So I pull it off. You're not going to set your fuel line here, but you pull the other side off. But now, see how I'm trying to keep it level? Your fuel filter is still full of gasoline. This has trapped gasoline that couldn't get through. It's still inside. So you're going to want to be careful. This is when you grab your old rags or towels that you have, and you're going to prepare for gasoline to come out. When I pulled my fuel lines off, gasoline just started running down. So I suggest if your fuel line is here and you're under the car, you're going to want to pull over here. You don't want to be directly under it and pull it, because that gasoline is just going to fall. So when I did it, it fell down my arm, actually. Okay? So here you go. Y'all can hold that. It's all dried out. Doesn't smell like gasoline anymore. So once you disconnect your fuel line, you're ready to unscrew the clamp that holds it on there. Do you see that bare piece of metal that's around the filter? How it's nice and shiny? That's where it's held in by the clamp. And the clamp is real simple. It's kind of like a belt. You just put your flathead screwdriver on there. Thank you. Put your flathead screwdriver on that clamp and turn it left until it loosens up, and then you're able to pull the fuel filter out of the holder. And the holder is like a C. It's like the letter C. It's like this. It's grabbing. So you just pry it up and it comes right out. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, one more question. So would it usually just be located in the, like, either if your gas tank is on the right side, it would be on the right side in that area?
Well, mine was actually in the middle. It really all depends.
In the middle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if this was the gas tank, the fuel filter was behind the gas tank, but it was in the middle. Even though my entry to the gas tank is over here, it was in the middle. So I had to get directly under the car.
So are they all recognizable like that, or are they all different sizes?
They're usually a cylinder shape. They look. I've seen several of them on the internet, and they all look the same. The ones that I've seen one for Mazdas, Ford Focus, Ford Mustangs, new Mustangs, old Mustangs, and they're pretty similar. Some of them are short and more square, and then some are longer than the one I have here. But they're all pretty. You can point it out.
Okay.
So once you unscrew that clamp, you're going to remove the old filter, pull it out, and like I said, you want to keep it level because it's still full of gasoline. And then you're going to, what I did, I was able to dump that gasoline out into a container. Make sure you have a container that you can put something like that in. You don't want to just dump it into the ground. And even if it did spill into the ground, gasoline evaporates pretty fast, usually within a couple of minutes. So you don't have a big mess. And see right here, I'm dumping it, and it goes away pretty quick. Alright, now you're ready to place the new filter inside of the clamp that you just took the old one out. There's an arrow on your filter that tells you which way the gasoline flow is. But what you can also do is, if you have a phone available, you can take a picture while it's still installed. That way you know which way it's facing under your car. So that way you don't forget and install it the wrong way. But they also have an arrow on there to tell you which way it goes. Okay? Then you're going to reconnect the fuel lines. It's the same process as disconnecting them. And then you're ready to lower the vehicle. And then you're going to reconnect the inertia switch. That's the switch that's in the trunk. So you're going to reconnect that switch, and then after that you should be able to go into your car and check the fuel pressure. And tighten the fuel cap. And now you're going to turn on your fuel pump. This is when you go in the car, you put the key in the ignition, but you're not going to start the car yet. You don't want to start the car right away. You're going to turn on your fuel pump, and the way you do that is you actually do this every time you get in your car. You just probably don't know it or listen for it. When you turn the key, before you start the car, all your accessories come on. Your radio, your lights, your door chime. When you hear that sound, your fuel pump is also coming on, but you usually don't hear it over all those noises your car makes with the radio and everything. But it's like a really low humming sound or a buzzing sound or a hissing sound. It's really low and you can hear it come on. So you'll turn your key to the accessories position and then turn it back to off. Then you'll turn it back to accessories and turn it back to off. And you'll do that 3 or 4 times over probably 60 to a minute and a half. Okay? So once you do that, you've built up the fuel pressure again, and now you're ready to start the car. When you start the car, you're going to let it run for a few minutes just to make sure it's idling okay. And if you look right here, my car usually idles at 1 RPM. This is your tachometer. That it'll have like 0 through 8 or 0 through 9 depending on your car. This is your RPMs. If your car normally runs between 0 and 1, but now you've started it after doing that fuel filter and it's running really high, that means something's wrong. Something's wrong. So what I would do, I would go back under the car and look at the fuel filter, make sure you've installed it the correct way. Okay? So check your idle, make sure it's running fine. Let it run for a few minutes, and then you're ready to drive and make sure the car's running good. And that's it. You did it. Any questions?
That was very helpful.
Do you think you can install a fuel filter now?
Yeah, it's worth a try.
We can try.
Worth a try.
Do you think you can install a fuel filter now?
Yeah.
Kinda, sorta.
Kinda, sorta.
Now, didn't you say your car is hesitating?
Mhm. It when I start it up, the RPM actually raises. I have to let it sit for a while and then it'll go back down into the one. So what is that mean?
That could be your vacuum, or it could be a number of things. But after this presentation, we can go down there and take a look at it and see. Because if it's the fuel filter, I wouldn't mind helping you out with that.
Let me try.
Or there you go. How about I'll just oversee it and make sure you guys are doing it right.
Alright.
Alright, I'm gonna give you all these papers. This is pretty much the process. This is the how-tos. It's got the slides that were in the presentation. Actually, it's 2 pages. And that way y'all can hold on to that, and if y'all ever have to change your fuel filter, you'll know how to do it. And that's it, guys. Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you. This is very helpful.
Alright.